Alright, yeah! Thank God for fantasy football. I'm Buster Brown, and the show is called Redemption Rehab. Today, we're taking a look at those impact players to pick up on your waiver wire. So buckle up, get out your popcorn, and let's head over to the chalkboard
and check out the facts.
Okay, here we are taking a look at our weekly waiver wire report, a show we're going to do all year long at those places listed behind me on your screen. Starting with this guy, Marcus Hollywood Brown, wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. Last week he caught 10 receptions for 99 yards on 15 targets. With Xavier Worthy hurt and Rashid Weiss suspended, this guy is going to step up and take those guys' place until they get back. Other guys that we like on Kansas City, Juju Smith-Schuster has to step up, and so is Tyquan Thornton, both wide receivers on the Kansas City Chiefs that have to step up while those other guys are out. Who else do we like at wide receiver? How about this guy, Quentin Johnston of the Los Angeles Chargers? Last week he caught 5 receptions for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns on 7 targets. Played the Kansas City Chiefs in Brazil. He hasn't done much in the last few years he's been in the league, but guess what? Last week, he stepped up to the plate and scored a ton of points in fantasy football. Make sure you go out and get him, put him on your roster, put him in your lineup. Who else do we like? How about this guy? At wide receiver, Kayshon Boutte of New England. Last week, he went out and caught 6 passes for 103 yards on 8 targets. He's available in probably 98% of fantasy football leagues. Go out in your waiver wire, pick him up, get him in your lineup. Who else do we like? How about this wide receiver? Wayne Dell Robinson of the New York Giants. Last week he caught 6 passes for 55 yards on 8 targets. Another guy we really like. How about Cedric Tillman of the Cleveland Browns? He's only owned in 65% of fantasy football leagues. Last week he caught 5 passes for 52 yards and 1 touchdown on 8 targets. And another guy we really like and you should pick up on your waiver wire wide receiver is Joshua Palmer of the Buffalo Bills. He's available in about 98% of your leagues. Last week, he went out against the Baltimore Ravens, caught 5 passes for 61 yards on 9 targets. I'll tell you what, other guys we kind of like, how about Calvin Austin of the Pittsburgh Steelers? He went out there and caught a touchdown with Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. Hey, maybe you don't need a wide receiver. Maybe you need a running back. Well, how about this guy? Dylan Sampson of the Cleveland Browns. He's owned in 40% of fantasy football leagues. Last week, he rushed the ball 12 times for 29 yards, and he caught 8 passes for 64 yards on 8 targets. I'll tell you what, rookie Quinshon Judkins is coming back, so that he may cut into some of Dylan Sampson's playing time. But I tell you what, when you catch 8 balls for 64 yards as a running back, you got to pick him up, put him on your roster, and possibly play him if you have the need to play him later this year. Who else do we like at running back? How about this guy? Trey Benson of the Arizona Cardinals. He's the handcuff to James Conner, who has a tendency to get hurt. Last week, Trey Benson had 8 rushes for 69 yards, and he caught 1 pass on 1 target. Who else do we like? Well, I'll tell you what, there's this kid they call Bill out of the Washington Commanders. His name is Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. He had 10 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown. I'll tell you what, man, keep an eye on that kid. He's only owned in about 60% of fantasy football leagues. We like him. You should go out and pick him up if he's available. Here's some sleepers you should know about. How about Miles Sanders for the Dallas Cowboys? Been in the league a long time. Used to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now he's playing for the Cowboys. Another guy, how about Kenneth Gainwell? Also used to play for the Eagles. He's playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll tell you what, maybe you're one of those guys that has an injury at tight end. Brock Bowers has a bad knee. He might play this week. But George Kittle's not going to play. He could be out for a month. So who are you going to replace him with? How about this guy down there in New Orleans, Juwan Johnson? He caught 8 passes for 76 yards on 11 targets. He's been around a while. He has a big game. Then he doesn't sometimes do anything for a couple weeks. Then he has another big game, so be careful with him. Another guy I think is going to have a decent year. How about Brenton Strange down there in Jacksonville? Last week, he caught 4 balls for 59 yards on 4 targets. And I'll tell you what, a guy we talked about in our NFL draft preview show, Harold Fannin Jr. out of Cleveland. He caught 7 balls for 63 yards on 9 targets. You can check out any of those rookies that come into the league on any of these sites listed behind me at Fantasy Football Redemption Rehab. You should go look and see what Harold Fannin did last year. At Bowling Green, he was a one-man show. Who else do we like at tight end? How about this guy? Maybe Noah Fant over there in Cincinnati. He caught 4 balls for 26 yards and a touchdown on 5 targets. And since Brock Bowers is hurt, how about Michael Mayer at Las Vegas Raiders tight end? He's the backup. He got a lot of playing time last week. He caught 4 balls for 38 yards on 4 targets. Maybe you don't need a wide receiver. Maybe you don't need a tight end. Maybe you don't need a running back. Hey, maybe you need a quarterback. How about Daniel Jones, who's available in 98% of leagues? Last week for the Colts at quarterback, he had 22 passes completed out of 29 for 272 yards and 1 touchdown. But it didn't stop there. He ran the ball 7 times for 26 yards and 2 more touchdowns. How about this veteran, Aaron Rodgers of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Last week he was 22 of 30. For 4 touchdowns. And maybe that you got a chance you can get yourself another really good quarterback. How about the former Ohio State Buckeye quarterback Justin Fields of the New York Jets? Last week he was 16 of 22 for 218 yards and a touchdown, but he didn't stop there. He ran the ball 12 times for 48 yards and another 2 touchdowns. Maybe you need a defense out there. We got some for you. How about these guys? Maybe the Seattle Seahawks. Next week, they play Pittsburgh, then New Orleans, then Arizona. We also like the San Francisco 49ers on the waiver wire. They play New Orleans, Arizona, then Jacksonville. If you need another good defense, how about the New England Patriots? They play the Miami Dolphins, Pittsburgh Steelers, then the Carolina Panthers. And I'll tell you what, maybe you need a kicker for a couple weeks because yours didn't score many points. You got to pick up this guy. How about Matt Prater of the Buffalo Bills? Bass is out for a while, and unfortunately, Matt Prater's the guy that had to take his place. I'd go out and pick him up because he's available in 98% of fantasy football. Okay, that's the weekly waiver wire report for week 2 of the NFL season. I'm Buster Brown. The show's called Redemption Rehab. Good luck.